Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
Norman Lear's All in the Family is remembered for Archie Bunker's blunt one-liners, heated debates across the dinner table, and the way it dragged real-world issues into America's living rooms. But in 1977, the show did something that went far beyond political arguments or generational clashes. It aired an episode so shocking it almost never made it to broadcast, a story that replaced laughter with fear and forced viewers to see Edith Bunker in a way they never had before. What began as a birthday celebration turned into one of the most controversial and talked about hours in sitcom history. Today, we're taking a closer look at the #1 most controversial episode of All in the Family that almost never aired. A sitcom that redefined boundaries.
If God had meant us to be together, he'd have put us together. Well, look what he's done. He put you over in Africa, he put the rest of us in all the white countries.
Well, you must have told him where we were, because somebody came and got it.
When All in the Family premiered in 1971, it quickly became one of the most talked about shows on television. Norman Lear built the series around Archie Bunker, a working class man from Queens whose outdated views clashed with his progressive son-in-law, Mike Stivic. The show tackled race, politics, gender roles, and generational divides with a mix of humor and tension that felt new for primetime. By the time the series reached its 8th season, audiences were used to heated arguments and bold themes. Yet, even by those standards, the decision to center an episode on attempted sexual assault felt risky. Sitcoms were expected to reset by the end of the half hour. This story would not. Edith's 50th birthday aired October 16, 1977, as a one-hour event, later split into 2 parts for syndication. Written by Bob Schiller and Bob Weisskopf and directed by Paul Bogart, it became the first American sitcom episode to portray an attempted rape. That alone placed it in uncharted territory. Norman Lear had originally considered placing a similar storyline on One Day at a Time. He ultimately decided that Edith Bunker should be the character attacked. His reasoning was clear. He wanted to show that sexual assault could happen to anyone, even someone as gentle and seemingly sheltered as Edith. That choice reframed the stakes. Edith was not written as a hardened character. She was soft-spoken, trusting, and often underestimated. Putting her at the center of the story made the episode more unsettling from the start. The birthday that turned into terror.
What are you doing here?
I'm making a cake.
Oh, well, don't be doing that,
It's
Edith.
my birthday
Yeah, but you don't want to do that.
Today is my birthday, remember?
Yeah, I can remember, but I don't like to remember birthdays. Sorry, Edith, but birthdays give me the blues.
Oh, don't be blue. Come on, cheer up, be happy.
The episode opens with what feels like a typical Bunker celebration. Archie, Gloria, and Mike are preparing a surprise party for Edith's 50th birthday. There's a lightness in the air. Edith, unaware that her family is next door planning festivities, is baking her own birthday cake at home. Then a man arrives at the door claiming to be Detective Lambert. He says he's searching for a rapist in the area. The tension rises slowly. Edith welcomes him inside. Within minutes, he reveals that he is the rapist and she is his intended victim.
First, let me just describe him to you, in case you see him. He's a man about my height and build, wears a gray suit, dark hat, and a blue and gold striped tie.
Oh, just like the one you're wearing.
Yeah, just exactly like the one I'm wearing.
What follows is one of the most chilling sequences ever filmed for a sitcom. The man corners Edith in her own living room and holds her at knife point. At one point, he hides in the closet when Archie unexpectedly comes home to retrieve a punch bowl. Before Archie enters, the attacker threatens to kill them both if Edith says anything. Archie notices that Edith seems upset, but he assumes she's emotional over a dead goldfish mishap at Gloria's house. He leaves unaware of the danger. The tension builds as Edith tries to stall, talking nervously and attempting to distract the man.
Oh, my birthday cake! My birthday cake is burning!
Lady, get rid of it! Get rid of it!
Her moment comes when she claims she smells something burning. Her cake is, in fact, on fire in the oven. The attacker allows her to put it out. In a sudden burst of action, Edith shoves the burning cake into his face, forces him out the back door, and runs to Gloria's house. As the family yells, "Surprise!" Edith collapses into Archie's arms in tears. It's at that moment he realizes something is terribly wrong. Aftermath inside the Bunker home.
He come into the house and he tried to... Your mother.
You tried to rape her?
Don't say bad things in words.
I'm calling the police.
Don't do that. Put that telephone down.
Daddy, we have to call the police.
No.
Mom, remember what had happened to me 3 years ago? That's the first thing we did.
And what's the first thing the cop told you when he come over the house? He said if it ever got into court, they'd ask you questions, they'd turn around and make it look like you asked for it there. That's why we dropped the whole thing. Don't you remember that, huh? And what do you want to do? Put your mother and me through the same kind of shame there? Besmooth the family name in the eyes of the community?
The second half of the episode shifts away from immediate danger and into emotional fallout. Edith tells her family what happened. Archie is enraged, but he and Edith resist going to the police. Archie fears that a courtroom will turn against Edith. He worries the attacker will try to claim she invited him in some suggestive way. There is history behind that fear. In an earlier episode titled Gloria the Victim, Gloria had been nearly raped. Edith had also once shared a story of her own attempted date rape as a teenager in the 1940s, an incident she never reported due to the social norms of the time. These callbacks ground the new storyline in the show's established world. Edith initially wants to forget the incident. Over the next 2 weeks, she spirals into fear and depression. She obsessively irons sheets. She panics when someone knocks at the door. Gene Stapleton plays these scenes with restraint, showing a woman trying to function while carrying deep anxiety. Eventually, Gloria reveals that the attacker has assaulted another woman after being released. This revelation pushes the family toward action. When Edith still refuses to identify him, Gloria lashes out and says she no longer considers Edith her mother. Edith, overwhelmed, slaps her daughter. The shock of that moment breaks through her emotional paralysis. Realizing what she's become, Edith agrees to go to the police station with Archie. The story does not end with easy comfort. It ends with a difficult but necessary step towards justice.
Come on, Archie.
Where are we going to go, Edith?
Down to the police station.
Oh, Edith, you ain't going to identify that guy, are you?
Yeah, if it's him, I gotta stop him.
Consultation and cultural impact.
So no topic was off limits. Racism, sexism, bigotry, homosexuality, abortion.
Well, you know, they were all the things that were happening in our lives.
Yeah.
We weren't making anything up.
Yeah. We weren't making anything up because comedy actually reveals universal truths.
Yes.
Yeah.
And comes out of difficulty and conflict.
Yeah.
You get sparks by rubbing two sticks together.
Yeah.
Norman Lear did not approach the story casually. He consulted Gail Abarbanel, founder of the Rape Treatment Center at Santa Monica Hospital, to ensure authenticity. Lear even asked her, quote, "If you could talk to 40 million people about rape, what would you want to say?" The question shaped the tone of the episode. Advanced screenings were held for police and hospitals across the country. The New York Police Department used the episode to help convey the victim's perspective. It was also shown at rape crisis centers. For a network sitcom to be screened in those settings was unprecedented. The episode's studio audience reacted intensely. When Edith shoved the burning cake into her attacker's face and escaped, the applause was reportedly the loudest in the history of the series. Lear later said he had never heard a bigger sound on television than when Edith got away. That reaction captured a mix of relief and collective anger. The storyline also had unexpected consequences for actor David Dukes, who played the attacker. According to reports, he received death threats for years because viewers could not separate him from the character. That reaction speaks to how deeply the episode affected audiences. In 1996, TV Guide ranked Edith's 50th birthday number 64 on its list of the 100 most memorable moments in TV history. The recognition reflected both its shock value and its lasting impression. Why it almost never aired. For all its acclaim, the episode was a gamble. Network television in the 70s had limits, and advertisers were cautious. A storyline centered on attempted rape, particularly within a sitcom, risked backlash. The tonal shift from comedy to raw drama was extreme. Lear understood the controversy. The show had always pushed boundaries, but this time it stepped fully into territory many felt should remain off-screen. The decision to air it as a 1-hour special signaled that this was not business as usual. The episode challenged assumptions about who could be a victim. It countered stereotypes that assault only happened to young women in certain settings. By placing Edith in danger inside her own home, the show underscored that vulnerability could exist anywhere. It also refused to wrap the trauma up neatly. Edith's lingering fear, her reluctance to go to the police, and the family's internal conflict gave viewers a realistic depiction of aftermath. That realism was part of what made some nervous about its broadcast. Yet the risk paid off. The episode did not destroy the show. Instead, it expanded what television comedy could attempt. While All in the Family had already been groundbreaking, this story pushed it into a different category. It proved even a familiar living room set could become the stage for one of the most controversial episodes in television history. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Edith's 50th birthday crossed a line for a sitcom, or was it exactly the kind of bold storytelling television needed at the time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.